Time is now 6:31. We are in session. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, March 13, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, where a quorum of the City Council will be present. All agenda items are subject to action. You can join the meeting at the Zoom link found in the agenda. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by audio, as provided by the agenda, as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting if providing comments in person, and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city secretary or by calling 210-607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by audio. An audio recording of this meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. Let me have a call to order, please. So I have Mayor Pro Tem is absent. I have Alderman Rapino is absent. I do have Alderman Tremblay.
Here.
Alderman Fillinger.
Here.
Alderwoman Madero.
Here.
The city secretary is not here, and the city attorney is not here. All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One more.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Chief, can you provide me the sign-in sheet? Or are you ready? Okay, thank you. All right, citizens to be heard. Persons wishing to speak may sign up with the city secretary in the time and manner as indicated above. This time is provided for citizens to address the city council on issues and concerns related to the city of Sandy Oaks. Please note that the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the city council from responding, commenting, or discussing items or topics during this portion of the meeting that are not included on the agenda. The city council appreciates hearing from the citizens, and your thoughts and questions are valued. However, civility and a sense of decorum will be strictly followed. All speakers must address their comments to the city council. Speakers shall refrain from criticism of members of the city council that are prohibited by law. This item will be open for up to 30 minutes with 3 minutes to each speaker. One person may speak on behalf of a group. Up to 3 people may register on behalf of the group for the spokesperson to be allotted up to 9 minutes. If there are more than 10 speakers, each will be given 2 minutes or 6 minutes for a group spokesperson. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 6 for 3807 Waterwood Pass. So let's actually, I'm going to jump to Maximiliano. Okay. And then we'll start the 3807 Waterwood Pass. So it's now 6:34. Mr. Maximino?
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay. Yes, rough.
And if you want to help him, that's okay. Yeah. Or in Espanol, and then the chief can translate.
Yeah.
Okay, lo que quiero es limpiar la propiedad.
He's been cleaning it up. He got divorced, and the mail, he don't get it. And the property, he paid it off, 20 years ago. But now the neighbor probably wants to buy it or something like that.
No,
And
no,
he's like abusing the neighbor. And it's clean.
no,
I see it.
echaron basura.
Oh yeah, they threw some illegal dumping.
Pick it up my
So
cake.
he fenced it in, he's working on it, he started cleaning it up, and but he don't need a fine, he just needs some time to clean it up, and you go show the pictures. But I mean, it's been there like, what, 20, 30 years, right?
No, come on. Menos.
20, yeah. And I mean, y'all don't want to,
Quiero limpiar.
I've seen worse properties,
Well, but again, let's go ahead and address Copper Canyon without the translation, and then we'll
Okay.
figure it out from
Go
there.
ahead.
Puede sentar, por favor.
No, yes, sir.
Quiero limpiar la propiedad. Es todo nomás porque me echaron basura. Y es lo que quiero hacer.
¿Cuántos días crees?
Menos de 20 días.
So,
what he's saying is, and he had come to my office already, and so I know what he's trying to say is, and this is exactly what he said right now. He understands, he got the abatement letter, he knows that there's the trash, the trailers, the burn that happened, everything that's been happening. He's saying that now with 29 days, what he just said, in 29 days he can have it flat, clean out, and meeting the city standards, per se.
Okay.
So that's what he wanted to let us know, is he's working on it, and he should have it done in 29 days.
This is the one next to Mr. McNeil.
Yeah, I believe we put you in the attorney, so
Mhm.
you
Yep.
would have the authority to grant that
Okay.
or even extend it, as long as we're moving.
Yeah, as long as there's progress. Okay. All right. Let's we'll talk some more and then you can relate to him.
Okay.
But we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Después hablamos, te hablo para decirle, porque no pueden hablar de nada de eso ahorita en la junta, pero después de la junta te puedo hablar con usted.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can we leave?
If you're ready to leave,
No,
you're more than welcome to. No.
You can leave, pero I want to talk to him after the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't.
Okay, so then now the time is 6:37, and let's have Norris Reagan speaking on behalf of 3807 Waterwood Pass, citizens to be heard.
Can we wait for the agenda?
I don't believe.
You're allowed to wait, it should be on the form. Actually, if she's using the correct form, they should have the option to indicate they want to talk to it when we get to that agenda item. According to our ordinance on citizens to be heard, they can wait until we get to that agenda item, sir.
I mean, it is regarding the agenda topic 3807. So, okay, yeah, then let's go ahead and wait. All right, so time is now 6:38.
Each one of them gets to make that decision.
Okay. All right,
Go ahead
so
and call them and ask.
all right, so Terry Reagan, you are next. Do you want to wait until the agenda item?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kimberly Reagan, do you want to wait until the agenda item? Adrian Brown, do you want to wait until the agenda item?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mark Schmitz,
Yes, sir.
do you want to wait? Okay. Julio Nunez, would you like to wait until the agenda item?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a long agenda item, guys. All right. Consent agenda items. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Yeah, I'd like to remove agenda item E for separate discussion,
Agenda item E,
or not agenda item, 5E.
5E? Yes, sir.
I'd like to remove that for separate discussion.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by
Second.
Alderwoman Madero to delay or to remove agenda item 5E from the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
All right?
Aye.
All those opposed? That is unanimous. All right.
Sir, I move to approve the items 5A, B, C, and D on the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, so I have a motion by Alderwoman Madero and a second by Alderman Fillinger to approve consent agenda items 5A, B, C, D. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Yes, sir, what did you?
Could you just give us a short explanation? We didn't receive a copy of that invoice. What is that?
Yep, so that's just a part of the Redbird Mountain invoice. So this is reimbursable through Bear County.
Okay.
Sorry, you should have had one, I'm sorry.
All right. You can actually discuss those type items under mayor announcements because we've already approved the expenditure.
I know, I just want to give you
Okay.
as much insight as possible to what's going on.
Definitely appreciate that, sir.
Okay, then I move that we approve the agenda item 5B.
I second.
All right, I have a motion from Alderman Fillinger and a second from Alderwoman Madero to approve a consent agenda item 5E. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That's unanimous. All right, moving along to agenda item 6A, the income and expenses, and it doesn't look like it was prepared. Unfortunately, Dama is having some family issues, so we do not have that to discuss, so we will bring that up on the next meeting to be reported on. All right, moving on to agenda item 7, Public Works, updates and announcements from Public Works Director Priscilla Smith with possible discussion under action. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to let y'all know that Rise Broadband has probably got maybe roughly 3 more weeks, I think, of being in our city, and then we will be completed with Rise Broadband. Also, on the inside, Rise Broadband is installing fiber optic, but on the outside, they've also done that. But currently, right now, you have a contractor with AT&T that is wrapping all the way around the outskirts of the city of Sandy Oaks that is kind of going through. But a lot of complaints are coming through, and the customers are thinking it's Rise Broadband doing this damage. It is not. It is a contractor with AT&T. It is not Rise Broadband. Also, the Red Mountain cul-de-sac is coming along great, looking really good. And Hilltop Peaks in Loman, they put guardrails up on Hilltop Peak to from Loman over to wrap around over to Hilltop Peaks, and that project is completed. Looks very good. The mayor and I were discussing about possibly uniforming it on the other side. The ditch is not a safe. Across the way from that guardrail is that ditch is in not safe conditions either. So that'll go on the next agenda to discuss that, to see if we can maybe get the other guardrail put up on the other side, because it's dangerous as well. I believe that is all I have for right now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
I do want to back up a little bit to the mayor's announcements and updates. I realized that I skipped that over, and I don't really want to talk about myself, but I do enjoy it. No, I'm just kidding. I do want to talk about last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, there was, as y'all may be aware, there was wildfires in the area, specifically across the highway at Duke Road, and then of course at Southton. Duke Road was evacuated, and Sandy Oaks was enabled as a shelter in place for those folks that were asked to leave their homes. I'll give you a bit of a timeline just so y'all can understand what happened, right? So about 1:45, I received a call from Bexar County. They asked if we could be a shelter, but they don't know for sure. I said, sure thing, just let me know. I said, we'll figure it out. Within an hour, they called me back and said, we'll be there in 20 minutes, and our first family's in tow. And so at that point, I got a hold of our Public Works Department, I got a hold of our Community Center volunteers, got a hold of our police chief. I sent an email to our councilman and let him know we're moving in. It's going to be a long night. About 3 o'clock, 3:30, that was about 4 o'clock. I think the first family rolled in. Fortunately, they had their own wheels, but we started to get more people that were just quite literally picked up off of the side of the road in front of their house and dropped, and they took right back off to Duke Road to pick up more people. So about 8 o'clock, so at that time, about 3:30, 4 o'clock, American Red Cross was there, Bexar County Emergency Management was there, Community Center volunteers were there, and I showed up about 4 o'clock. About 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8, Bexar County said, we have a hard stop at 8:30. And we had a total of 8 families inside our building on that Tuesday evening. And they said, we have a hard stop at 8:30, we're packing up and we're going home. And I said, well, no, you're not. Because they said, can you help us drop people off to their homes? I said, well, before I do that, if you're going to leave at 8:30, I'm not going to close the building at 8:30. I said, me, the chief, and a constable took off to Duke Road and went to go assess the situation, and we weren't even allowed to get close. They turned us around, and we came back. And I explained to Bexar County, I said, there ain't no way you're closing us down. We need people here. These folks don't have a place to go. About 9 o'clock, we got our first notice that somebody lost their home that was staying with us. And so they just started trickling in after that. The people that were with us, more and more lost their homes. About midnight, Bexar County decided to, because there were some people that decided to, I'll just get my own hotel, I'll take off. There were some people that had friends or family pick them up. And there was about 3 families left over that Bexar County decided to put into a hotel. At that point, about 11 o'clock, so just before that, about 11 o'clock, the remainder of American Red Cross showed up and lined the community center with cots, and basically set it up overnight to be a shelter in case people were still removed and did not have a place to go. At that point, our police chief called one of our officers, our mental health officer, stated patrolled all night. We did contact a chaplain because one of the persons was probably going to be upset when we let them know. We had staged EMS just in case he went through an experience. And I will say by 1 o'clock, all the families that were there were at least checked into a hotel. So quite a whirlwind of emotions, not only for the people that were kicked out, but for our staff. Right, so by my account, Charles, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time that we've been enabled as a
Yes.
emergency shelter? So from my perspective, it was a long day. It was a long day, it was a lot of work, but to know that people were safe was ultimately the thing that we take home. And we're still working with them today. In fact, we still do have a cat housed internally that could not go with that family. And it's still an ongoing effort. So that being said, I'm working still with Bexar County, so I know a lot of people have reached out and asked what can we do for those folks. Just stand by, because right now they still don't have permanent living situations. If you are interested in donating to that cause, to helping them, I will post when Bexar County lets me know what we can provide to them, because I don't want it to be where we store everything here and then we don't have the room for it, it gets damaged. But instead, let's hang on to it, and then once it comes out, then we'll release it so we can get them stuff to get back on their feet. But that's pretty much the only announcement that I had. I just wanted to share with this group and for all those across the interwebs, kind of the play-by-play of what happened last Tuesday. And on Thursday, that following Thursday, the Red Cross was back here again, actually as like an office, basically signing people up for services. So Sandy Oaks was in the thick of it. So thank you to all our citizens and our friends and family and our volunteers that contributed and that were welcoming to the people that were displaced and came into our city. All right, moving right along. Animal control updates and announcements from ACO Cunningham with possible discussion and or action. Oh, there you are. Okay. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, council. Good evening, citizens. We have our monthly report here for the month of February. We had 12 total warnings. We had 3 citations. We had 3 referrals, 5 impounds, 1 impound with a citation. We had 10 animals that we got calls for that we were unable to locate. We had 1 dead animal pickup, 1 no violation observed. We have 3 pending cases, and then we have 3 resolved prior to contact. The total new animals that were taken in for the month of February was 16. That is quite a bit of animals. It did include a couple litters of puppies. So we have a lot of puppies in the facility right now, if anyone's interested. The animals that we have in custody as of the 7th was 16. Dogs that were transferred to shelters, returned to owners, or adopted for the month of February was 17. So we did have quite a bit coming in and quite a bit coming out. Unfortunately, it was still, we brought in more than left, so we still have quite a high number. Dogs euthanized for the month of February. Unfortunately, we did have to euthanize 2 aggressive dogs. And dogs that came in for clinic, which is new. I haven't had a lot of people coming in for these resources, but we do have them. They came in and got their dogs microchipped. was 2 dogs, so that was pretty exciting that we had some people coming in to use the resources that we have. That is all I have for the review report.
Okay. And so then I guess we want to, really, we should have gone the other way, right? So updates and announcements. Let's talk through your best friends conference.
I did have a PowerPoint.
Everybody has it.
Everyone has it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just kind of give us a recap. Again, we're not looking at the slides in a sense.
Okay.
We have them, but just tell us about your experience, what y'all talked about. Both of y'all can talk about the different classes and
Okay.
sure.
So we went to a conference called the Best Friends National Conference. It was in Palm Springs, California. They did give us a grant so that we could go to this conference. When we went to the conference, it was very educational. They're all about saving as many dogs as that can be saved, and being no-kill. So that's their ultimate goal, is no-kill. There was a lot of things that pertain to animal control specifically, and a lot of people from around the country that did animal control, either city or rural. And that was, we had a lot of classes where we were able to go in, all sit down, talk, and discuss issues across the United States, which was very, very interesting. It gave us a lot of ways to brainstorm, have different ideas on how to help the dogs and cats that come into our facility and other animals. We learned about care for animals that are like neonatal kittens, trap and neuter release programs, and things like that. I was hoping that I could have the PowerPoint in front of me, but I don't really remember all that I put in there.
I mean, you can use mine. You can
Okay.
use mine if you like. That helps.
Unfortunately, I didn't print it out.
Thank you.
So we learned a great deal at the conference. On my schedule, the first day, we had the opening ceremony. I went to a class called Funding Challenges. We did a Homeward Bound, which is all about getting animals back to their owners, which is a lot of animals here do have owners, we just can't find them. There was a class on how to get your animals into foster, keeping track, big dog intake and placement. A lot of the dogs that we have are bigger dogs. There's a lot of pit bulls and German shepherds here, so those are harder to place. That's predominantly what we have back there in the back today, actually. I went to fundraising classes, so I learned how to apply for funding, reach out for funding, and just let the community know what we're needing. We had transfer impact and how to make more partnerships, which is always good because that's how predominantly we get our dogs out of this facility. We did a grant writing boot camp, working online with your online community, increase spay-neuter capacity, which is trying to bring spay and neuter to your facility. We had shared solutions for shared challenges. That's the one where we all came together and spoke with the animal control people from across the country, which was my personal favorite class. We did get with the program, another funding one about grants and stuff. And then Safe at Home, which was trying to save cats and kittens in low-income communities. And then we had, I took a course which was handling canine behaviors, challenging behaviors, so aggressive dogs. I'll let you speak on the secondary classes that you took.
Hello, my name is Cassandra. On day one, we did a shared solutions and shared challenges. It's basically what we face on a day-to-day basis and trying to get input to help us with our facility. And I also did life saving in the face of crisis. It's basically on partnerships with other rescue teams and best frenemies, how to turn critics into advocates. Basically, it's like trying to help the community to understand what we do, what we're trying to do, and what we're trying to accomplish. And help, and also asking the community to help us. We're here to help them, but also we need their help as well. Keeping track of strategies for big intake placements. A lot of facilities, we have a lot of hard times trying to find a facility to take these big dogs because they're older, they're more mature, so it's basically they're set in their ways, so we're trying to figure out what we could do to get them into homes. My favorite was Love at First Click, taking pictures of all these dogs to get them adopted and knowing how to take a picture versus just going out there with the camera and just snapping a picture. They showed how to do the angles and lighting and what kind of props, what not props to use. And then I also did the never bite when a growl will do, like skills for dog lovers, how to maintain them and how to train them. And handling challenging canine behaviors in shelter setting course. I took 2 classes of those, and because we deal with aggressive dogs, you know, it could be a weekly basis, daily basis. It's knowing how to control them and to keep them safe, you safe, and everybody safe. And I really enjoyed that because we've had incident before, and it scared me because I didn't know what to do. But I mean, those classes were very educational and very knowledgeable, and yeah, that's.
So all things considered, I mean, is it something that you feel is a benefit to animal control?
Yeah.
Or is it more of an animal shelter?
So it talked about both. A lot of the classes did pertain to animal shelters and places who do like 501c3.
501c3s, yeah.
It did pertain to a lot of the grant writing was specifically targeted towards them, but they did have some stuff for us. I did get in contact with a gentleman from Operation Kindness, and Operation Kindness is a program that specifically helps municipal shelters. So I got his card. I've been trying to reach out to him. I did send an email yesterday. So hopefully we'll hear from him soon.
Yeah.
The classes that we took, I do think benefited us. We did learn quite a bit of stuff as far as reaching out, how to properly reach out to your community and let them know, like, hey, we're here for you. These are the offer programs,
Right.
offer drive-through clinics, things like that that people can have in their city that they need.
Right, yeah.
Those resources I've already seen an impact. And asking for funding, we've already gotten several donations of dog food, of leashes, of collars, of things that we use and we can give out to people who need them.
Right. And actually, Wilson County, their pet project brought us a bunch of food the other day based off of y'all's reach outs. And yeah, so I mean, I think it was just based on our one-on-one conversations. I think there's a lot to be learned. I think 501c3 is the next thing. You know, Friends of Sandy Oaks Animal Control might be the next step, so we can apply for these federally funded grants. Do y'all have any questions for our animal control?
What's the one thing you would recommend for people to do to get their animals back quickly and safely?
Number one thing that I would recommend is getting your pet microchipped.
Thank you.
Every single dog that we bring in here, every dog, it doesn't matter if they're here for 10 minutes or, 2 weeks. Every dog we bring in, we scan them for a microchip. The microchip has their information on it. It tells us where we can find the owner.
What would you guess is your success rate from finding a microchip in their dog?
Not very much. I'd say maybe 5%
Okay.
have their dog microchipped.
Wouldn't it be a good idea for you to set up at the park when they're doing the vaccinations? Could you do that?
They charge.
They charge?
They charge, so
Yeah, they
we-
have it set up,
Yeah.
they pause.
I mean,
We
we-
offer
But
it
we
for-
do offer it.
For here, we can do it in office. It takes longer to fill out the paperwork, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But it takes us about, we've got it down to 10 minutes? Yeah, 10 minutes to do the microchipping itself. We keep muzzles in our office so that people can bring their dogs in, we'll muzzle them, I have her hold them, we microchip them, and we input it into the system and give the dogs back to
Are
them.
you having any problems finding chips on the dogs you're bringing in?
No, there is a specific way you have to do the scanner to catch the microchip, but we've actually found stolen dogs and returned them to their owners. So that's been really, really helpful.
So if they have a microchip, you have a really good
Yes,
percentage of return.
yes, sir. Almost,
Good.
I'd say almost 90%. The other 10%, they just don't have their dog's information registered to themselves. It'll be registered to someone else,
Or they have moved,
or they've moved. Yeah.
and there's no way of contacting them.
Having a rabies tag as well. Every dog is required to have a rabies tag. Having a rabies tag, I'm able to contact the vet that gave that rabies tag. Once I contact that vet, the vet can contact the owner.
Yeah.
So that's very helpful.
That's a good resource because when I got my dogs neutered, actually Penny Paws didn't give me the license, so I contacted them and they sent it over to the clinic. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of transfer of information there. It's real beneficial.
So, I mean, we would like to make sure that everyone's dogs stay where they are. And if they don't, if they're microchipped, we can get them back to them. There's a lot of dogs out there right now in our care that are actually, they belong to somebody. They're very good dogs. And they don't deserve to be euthanized just because we can't find their owners. So we do try to, that's why we try with Austin Pets Alive, transfer them with RAD, Rescue a Death Row Doggy, and the private transfer partners that we've collected, try to get these dogs in homes. Unfortunately, big dogs are hard to replace, so.
And we do look on the Nextdoor app, if somebody posts a dog, one of their dogs missing or something, we do check that, we monitor it, and a lot of times I take a picture of the dog with the people's information, just in case if we do pick up a dog, we reach out to them.
One more thing, Austin Pets Alive did donate some vaccinations to vaccinate dogs on intake. So if your dog is picked up, we are giving those vaccinations to the dogs. Just because vaccinations help prevent the spread of disease. So they're working with us as well to help cut the cost of those vaccinations.
What type of vaccinations?
It's DAPP, which is,
Distemper parvo.
yes, thank you, distemper parvo vaccine. And they also gave us Bordetella, para-influenza, so I guess it's like an upper respiratory preventative. So those really help. So the dogs can be microchipped here, they can get their vaccine here, they can do all of these things, are resources for the citizens as well.
Well,
But just to make it clear, we cannot give rabies shots.
Yes,
Yeah, we're not able to give rabies shots.
Because we're not a vet.
I'm not a veterinarian.
And the vet has to do that. And we're trying to tell a lot of the community to get their dogs rabies shots. It's only $10 or $15. If that dog bites somebody, it's gonna cost anywhere up to what, $1,700?
$1,700
Yeah.
is what it could potentially cost you if your dog bites somebody, plus the citations, plus
The
the,
boarding.
well, that $1,700 is the boarding at the licensed rabies facility. But then you also get a citation from the city for your dog being loose and biting somebody, not being up to date on its rabies, and properly vaccinated. And then also you could be liable for any health things, medical lawsuits that the victim receives. So we try to encourage the $15 rabies vaccine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Let me give you back your.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, you just give it to Priscilla. All right, moving right along, agenda item 9A, updates and announcement from Chief Juarez with possible discussion and action. Sir, you do have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As far as updates go, just want to update you guys, let you know that our grants have all been submitted and turned in on time. Now just pending, waiting on the approval. The grants that we were putting in for the best body cam, mental health officer grants. And the 2 new officers are almost off FTO. In my opinion, they should be on their own within the next 2 weeks. We should have full staff, everybody on their own, up and going, which was my goal from the beginning. So that looks like we are within 2 weeks of having that completed. That's all I have as far as new updates.
Okay. Moving right along, agenda item 9B, presentation of monthly report by Chief Juarez with possible discussion and action. Sir, you do have the floor once more.
Yes, sir. So as far as the monthly report goes, I'll go down the line. Alarms, businesses, we had 2 calls. Bexar County had none. Fire alarms, we had none. Bexar County had 1. Resident alarms, we had 1. Bexar County had 3. Animal bite calls, we took 2. Animal cruelty cases, we took 2. Assaults, we took 1. Bexar County took 2. Assist EMS, Bexar County had 2. Assist the public, we had 1. City ordinance violations, we had 38. Civil matter custody, we had 1. Civil matter keep the peace, we had 2. Bexar County had 3. Civil matter of property, we had 3. Bexar County had 1. Non-injury crashes, we had 2. Bexar County had 1. Criminal mischiefs, we had 1. Damaged property, Bexar County had 1. Deadly conduct, Bexar County had 1. Deceased person, we took that 1. Discharged firearm by an officer, that was us, 1. Disturbance family, 1, us, and 6, Bexar County. Disturbance noise, we had 3, Bexar County had 7. Disturbance verbal, we had 1, Bexar County had 3. Disturbance shots heard, we had 4, Bexar County none. Driving while intoxicated, Bexar County had 1, we had none. Harassment, we had 1, Bexar County had 1. Information reports, we had 4, correction, Bexar County had 15. Injured sick person, we had 1. Mental health calls, Bexar County had 1. Narcotic investigations, we had 1. Patrol by request, we had 2, Bexar County had 10. Public nuisance, we had 1. Reckless driving, Bexar County had 1. Search warrants executed, Bexar County had 6. Sexual assaults of a child, we had 1. Suspicious activity, we had 3, Bexar County had 5. Suspicious vehicle, Bexar County had 2. Thefts, we had 3, Bexar County had 2. Welfare checks, we had 2, Bexar County 6. 911 hangups, we had 16, Bexar County had 10. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is probably the first time that the City of Sandy Oaks Police Department has answered more calls than the Bexar County Sheriff's Department within our city. We answered 102, Bexar County answered 93. I know we've been going over that every month when we do these calls, and we've seen how little by little we're taking over where we should be answering the majority of the calls. And I can only see that advancing as these other 2 officers are now going to be on their own as well. Traffic stops, we had 98, Bexar County had 4, and the lieutenant closed 12 cases for prosecution this past month. I'd also like to say that with us taking more calls, that just means we are now taking, for example, right now, our officers are, we have 3 major cases that we're working on. One with the feds, one with the state, and one that I've called in Bexar County and San Antonio PD for assistance as well. So along with taking more cases, we're having more serious investigations going on as well. So that's, you're gonna see an increase as that as we take on these cases where we didn't see them before because other departments were handling them, right? So as we speak, like I said, we're doing 3 major cases that I would consider very major cases that we've requested assistance from the feds, the state, Bexar County, and San Antonio PD. So, but that is my update.
What's a deadly conduct mean?
Deadly conduct could be drive-by, it could be discharging the firearm in the vicinity of a residence or a vehicle with somebody in there, so you intentionally, knowingly, and willingly. It's not like if you shoot say you shoot a firearm in the air and then the bullet falls down somewhere and it hits somebody, that wasn't deadly conduct, right? That was reckless discharge of a firearm. But if I intentionally shoot at you, but I don't hit you, that was deadly conduct because I intentionally, knowingly, and willingly did that. So
Thank you, sir.
that would be deadly conduct. Oh, I'm sorry. City ordinance violations. So you guys had asked an update. It was Mayor Pro Tem. I know she's not here, but a couple months ago, so we started keeping track of the city ordinance violations that we're issuing. There was 5 high grass violations. The accumulation of garbage, trash, brush, etc. There was 21 of those written. Loose canine, 1. Violation of a burn ban, 2. We had an ice cream truck in the city without a permit, 1. Junk vehicles, 7. And we had 1 RV trailer hooked up to utilities.
The ice cream truck permit, that's required under the food handling ordinance, correct? Because of dealing with food.
I'm not sure if that is what that ordinance
vendor permit.
is.
It's a vendor
Oh, you need, they actually need a
Vendor's
permit to be a truck, so it's more than the food handling issue.
Right, it's a vendor permit.
Vendor permit, there we go, vendor.
Vendor permit, okay, thank you.
Can you explain what the discharge firearm by officer is?
That was me. We got called out. We got called out to a call. A pit bull had broke loose and attacked another pit bull. Owner owned both dogs. Broke loose and it started to go towards the lieutenant. We were able to keep the lieutenant from getting bit and went back under the trailer. Continued to attack another pit bull. Draws around the throat. The owner of the dog says, please, she's killing my baby. He's killing my baby. I can't, do something about it, so I had to shoot the dog.
I know that was a burning question, so I know people wanted to know.
I got it.
Was the dog that was being attacked okay?
It survived. Yes, and I'd like to say Ashley and Cassandra did an excellent job out there trying to, because there were several other pit bulls that were there as well. They got them to safety while we had this other pit bull just trying to attack everybody, right? So they did an excellent job there. They've already left, but I just wanted to let you know they did a great job.
It's on record.
Okay, anything else for the chief?
Nope.
All right, moving right along. Parks and Recreation, updates and announcements from Park Advisory Chairman, Committee Chair Alderman Rapino. I will say they did have a meeting on Tuesday. It was mostly, Priscilla, I do have a list of things that the park wants to get done. So I will meet you before you walk out of here today to give you that list. I don't know when their next meeting is, but it's usually the first Tuesday of the month.
Usually on the first Tuesday.
Right, first Tuesday of the month at 5:30 p.m. So whenever that falls in, you can fill in the blanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, moving right along. Agenda item old business 11A, discussing or possible action on amending the personnel policy. Alderman Fillinger and Mayor Pro Tem Alvarado. So just to fill you in, I did complete it. I did talk to ADP and it was just gonna be too much money. I said, let me just hunker down and work through this and make sure that everything's there that I thought was we had all previously agreed on. There's a outline or a table of contents at the beginning. There's an acknowledgement page at the back. The sexual harassment policy is included in the document. The holidays are updated for 2025. I did include which it was actually included in the police department's tab here, but I did include the pay scale that is for the police department because it was previously in our employee manual, so I don't know if we should just motion to remove that or motion to update our pay scale.
The pay scale that was in the handout for the agenda for today,
Mhm.
I'd move that we pull that and we can bring that back to council as a separate agenda item for discussion.
Okay.
That's a motion.
Yep, I am getting that together.
What page is that page scale on?
So the pay scale is, I don't know, let's look at the table of contents.
It's behind my,
Page 41. Well, I take it back. Where did it go? Let me see here.
I found it.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it.
Previous.
No, I lost it.
Page 16. 16?
16, 16.
Oh, yeah, there's problems with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and so like I said, the chief has come up with a new scale, but again, the motion by Alderman Tremblay is to not discuss the
I'll
pay
second
scale
his
for the
motion.
police, okay? And I have a second by by Alderwoman Madero to strike the pay scale for now. So Tremblay and Madero strike PD pay scale. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, okay, we will not discuss the PD pay scale.
And Mayor, are there any other changes that were made while you were creating table of contents and putting this together? Are there any other changes in
No.
the manual so we need to go through page by page? If that's the case, I'll pull this till the next
Yeah.
meeting as well.
No.
I think we need to decipher the whole manual.
Yeah, there was a couple issues I had with the manual.
I mean, do we want to talk to them?
So-
Or what do we want to do?
Well, I'm trying to find them in the new version because I had looked at the previous version that you had sent me. So, one is the consideration of application, which was on page 11 of the previous version, but I don't know where it's at in here
Okay.
when we're talking about hiring and selection.
Can I make a motion? I move we approve the format of this, and let's
Bring it back up.
make because what we've done here is just format the manual.
And added the sexual harassment stuff too.
No, but that was approved in a previous
Previously.
revision. It was.
Oh, and that's what messed up the
never added.
formatting.
Yes.
Okay, because then I can cross-reference this with this document.
So what we were doing under this agenda item was reformatting the manual and adding a table of contents and page numbers because the
Yeah.
manual never had pages.
And an acknowledgement.
When it was 12 pages, it was okay. Now it's 75 pages. We need page numbers.
Copy, you sent me a page number.
So
Oh, way back then. But yeah, they were all screwy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so again, you moved to,
I moved that we not discuss the contents, but we moved to approve the format as it's being presented.
and then have it on the agenda.
Yeah, I can put it back on old business again for next.
I will second his motion, sir.
All right, I got a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderwoman Madero to approve the format of the personnel policy manual. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? That is unanimous. All right, so at least we got that done. And then I'll bring it back on the next agenda item. Please keep this copy because it is 65 pages. I'm not going to print it out again.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Agenda item 11B, discuss and possible action on ordinance number 2025-248, discussing regulations for the certificates of occupancy. This is a second reading. Let me see here. I did make the updates to the permit as discussed, and I did get a hold of our building inspector, and they should be able to provide certificates of occupancy, like you were asking, who can do that for us. So I think we're right on the cusp, and actually I got another email the other day from a person that needs a certificate of occupancy. So it's going to keep coming more and more apparent. So
We need one in our community center.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
So the cost for the certificate of occupancy inspection is listed in the application and not in the ordinance. Is that sufficient for the city secretary to update the master fee schedule? Is this application considered part of the ordinance?
I doubt there was.
Because the ordinance itself doesn't talk to it, it just says that there will be.
Well, isn't it in the, so maybe we should strike it from the permit, and then it should be accounted for in the master fee schedule.
Well, no, we can have it on here. I'm just saying that, is this sufficient to task Delma to make the update to the master fee schedule without having to come back? Because if it's in ordinance, she automatically has to update the master fee schedule based on the ordinances instructing her to do that. But I'm not sure if the application
Is sufficient.
is sufficient based on what the ordinance states. Because
Well-
anytime we change a fee in an ordinance, she's automatically instructed to update it.
It is an exhibit, right? So,
Okay, then that's good
Then I
enough.
think
I would
that's-
think, our city attorney's not here,
yeah.
but I just want to make sure we get it on the master fee schedule so people know.
What it costs.
And yeah, and we're not doing this, because not everybody goes out there and listens to our recording.
True.
But if you, I mean, I think it would be, because it's part of it. I
Yeah.
just wanted to get everyone's opinion on that as well. But I have reviewed, and after previous conversations, I moved to accept ordinance 2025-248, an ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, establishing certificates of occupancy, the second reading, sir.
I have a motion by Alderwoman Madero. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Alderman Tremblay to accept ordinance number, or to adopt ordinance number 2025-248, establishing regulations for the certificates of occupancy, a second reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. All those opposed? That's unanimous. This motion carries.
And, sir, just as a reminder, section 4 includes a penalty associated with it, so our city secretary will need to publish that in the Wilson County News.
Yes. You got it. Wilson County News. All right, discuss and or possible action on ordinance number 2025-236, establishing animal control regulations, a second reading.
We do have some issues. Do you want to discuss that before we?
Yeah,
I mean, we can still amend at this point.
yeah.
Good. Under item 11,
Section 11, sir, is that what you just said?
no, hang on just a second.
I know, it's a rather large document.
And it changed from the initial one I had, so I'm not sure where this should
Which
go.
section are you looking for?
I'm looking at prohibited actions. It's gotta be towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, it's now section 17. Those are penalties, no, it's not that. Just prohibitions.
Section 8, page 11, sir. Prohibited actions.
Page 11?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It was, previously it was item 11. Under this section, I'd like to discuss and possibly include keeping of animals on permanent properties that do not have a permanent residences. So I'd like to add in possibly item 7A, it shall be unlawful to keep any animal on a property that is not a permanent residence. So there's nothing there to address that.
Oh, so just under section 8, so section.
Somewhere in section 8A, add an item 7.
Add Item
Right.
7, and it would be it shall be unlawful to keep any animal, which shall go define, animal is defined in the first section, so it should be unlawful to keep any animal on a property that is not a permanent residence.
But what if, well, I guess we don't have that problem because we don't allow cows or goats or anything like
Well,
that.
at one point,
Actually, we
on
do.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Priest
the
Road,
grandfather.
at one point, there was a individual that kept a horse there, but it was just a travel trailer. There was no residence there. I used to jog on Priest Road, I'd see that animal there. Every time I go by there, he'd come running up to the fence like that. I'd bring him an apple every now and then. I didn't know when they were coming to check on that animal.
But that would also, what if they wanted to keep goats on that property to maintain the lawn, the grass in that area? You're saying if
Well,
no one
goats
lives
aren't.
there?
You can't keep a goat in the city, so.
But
Again, read the whole thing, because if their deed restrictions allow goats,
That's the deed
this-
restriction. Well, yeah, that-
it's exempted by this ordinance. So, yes, there are properties on Priest Road where they can have a horse or a cow, or goats, or sheep, because their deeds allow that. And
And the city ordinances don't override the deed
this,
restriction.
Correct.
there's an exemption phrase in this ordinance
Right.
that exempts a property that has, in other words,
the deed restrictions predated the city, so
Well-
they take precedence. We can't enforce the deed
Right, we don't
restrictions.
enforce deed restrictions.
we don't enforce deed restrictions. And all I'm saying is there's an exemption in this ordinance that if your property deed allows livestock, you're exempted from that portion of this ordinance. Now,
So then,
if you want to address that, then we need to go in and remove that exemption, because we don't have to recognize the deed restriction, the deed. It's not a deed restriction, what is covenants and,
Grandma law.
not a grandma law.
It's just what the deed, it's just what the deed.
covenants
warrants
and
the deed.
restrictions, not
Right.
deed restrictions,
Yeah.
covenants and restrictions. Their covenant with the seller was, you can have livestock. We don't have to recognize that covenant, but this,
They
at the
allow it.
time this was originally written there, they exempted properties whose covenants allowed livestock.
So
So if you
same
want to
thing.
address that, we need to,
Well, the same could be addressed. As this, we're looking at city ordinances, city lots. We recognize that on the acreage lots, that they are allowed to have livestock.
well, let's call a timeout. Can I get a motion just so we can see if this is even gonna be a discussion, right? Is that Robert's rules? He makes a motion if we
He
get
should
his.
move to add that sentence, I think he
Right.
did.
No, we just started discussing it. Okay, so do you wanna make that as a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a motion by Alderman Tremblay to add an item, line 7, under section 8A to, can you recap it for me?
shall be unlawful to keep any animal on a property that is not a permanent residence.
To make it unlawful to keep an animal
Keep an animal
on a property that is not a permanent residence. I have a motion by Alderman Tremblay. Can I get a second?
I'll second it so we can discuss it.
And I have a second by Mayor, I keep doing it, Alderwoman Madero. All right, so now let's continue, just so that way it's on the record.
Okay, I'd like to address that. I oppose your motion because it conflicts with another portion of the ordinance. If we want to do that, we need to go in and look at the exemption section of the ordinance and remove that exemption.
And I think we should talk to the city attorney too, to make sure that we're not violating any of the deeds, because the deeds predate us as a city.
But even if we added it in there and we and we have this clause in there, as you mentioned, Alderman Fillinger, then it would only be applicable to the properties that don't have the deed restriction.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. Okay.
Because it would be applicable to everybody.
Everybody has a.
But I'm just saying, the folks that are allowed to have livestock, maybe they want to have a cow, a
Gotcha.
horse, a goat, some sort of livestock.
I understand. I understood it as
And
the deed restriction would allow them to. It would
No,
supersede
no.
this. Okay.
That's the concern, because there's folks, so I'd just like to understand more about why you don't think livestock should be allowed. I could see not having a dog.
I don't think it's
or
livestock.
cat.
Well, maybe it is.
No, I'm not talking about livestock.
If it, yeah.
Right.
Within
Because we
reason.
don't allow livestock within the city as it is. If they have acreage, the big lots on Priest Road specifically, that's not an issue. They've never been an issue. They're allowed to have livestock because of the size of their tracts. Size of their lots.
It's the
They have
smaller
acreage.
properties.
so you're saying inside the city
Yeah.
that
They're not living there, but there's a dog or a cat or a chicken, and they don't live there. And so that person has to come ever so often to give it food and water. He doesn't want that, right? Is that basically?
That's the concerns you have. You have animals that are left on lots, and then they're not feeding them. Other people are feeding them.
that animal's abandoned.
Then it
and
should be written up as neglect.
That
It could be,
if it's a vacant lot,
and the defense
and
is,
it's
well,
not
not mine.
next, the
It's
guy,
my lot, but those aren't my animals.
if I own two lots, okay, I live on this lot and I have a vacant lot next to me. I own both of them. I'll damn well be able to run
Yeah,
chickens
I don't think
on that
that's.
second
I don't think that's
lot.
the issue. You're right.
Okay, but if there's not a house there, there's not a person there, and you've locked an animal in there, that's abandonment by the terms of this ordinance. And that's what should be addressed, is the abandonment.
Well,
And
it's in
abandonment,
there.
neglect, those kind of issues I think are already addressed.
That's in
But-
there already.
Yeah, and
Abandonment.
if that's your concern, then I think it's already addressed in the ordinance.
And we have dealt exactly with that before. Can I get a witness?
Yeah, but I think we should allow, the example like he gave, someone with 2 lots wants to keep one, or maybe they just have a dog that's a watchdog that they leave there overnight, why, because they're building stuff there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different scenarios. To just ban all animals on a lot that doesn't have a home, I think is too restrictive.
Well, I don't think it's necessary, because, as I say, if they're leaving the dog there abandoned, then let's charge them with abandoned. If they manage to slip over into animal cruelty, I said, let's charge them with animal cruelty.
All right,
But
I withdraw the motion.
Okay. All right. The motion was withdrawal to add section 7 to 8A. Do I need a motion to withdraw the motion? No, I don't think so.
No, he can just,
Okay.
no, once it's been presented to the floor,
I got withdraw.
you can just withdraw it.
Okay. So no motion. Okay.
You can also just do a vote on it, and we can say no.
Actually, after a second, we have to have.
Yeah, once you
Okay.
present it to the floor, it's on the floor. He doesn't own it anymore. The
Okay.
floor
So
owns
let's
it.
take them. Let's
You can
take-
either take a vote on the motion itself, or you take a vote to withdraw the motion. I think proper terms is to take a vote on the motion itself.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion to what? Say that again?
Just vote on the motion that was
Vote
on the
on
floor.
the
Okay, can I
You
get
moved to add that
all those in
paragraph.
favor of adding the section 7A to section 8? Right, 8A to,
You're right, just ask who's in favor, who's opposed.
all those in favor for adding the section to section 8, line 7. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed to adding the line?
No.
No.
All right, that motion carries. Any other discussion on agenda
Well,
item
I gotta
11C?
go double check Robert's rule of order, but I think you are correct.
Uh, No further discussion. I move that we adopt ordinance number 225-248, an ordinance of the city
No,
council.
the next one,
Next one down.
236.
We need dividers here.
That's what I said.
Oh, gosh.
You can use this little tab like this.
Okay, it's in there with like everything else. Okay, I move we adopt ordinance number 225-236, an ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, amending ordinance number 224-236. We have a problem.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
That's the wrong ordinance number.
That's the old ordinance number, no, 225, 236?
What's that?
Isn't 225, 236 the correct ordinance number?
What's that?
Okay, so we'll just fill in the ordinance number.
I don't know what the next one is.
I think it's 236. So we're uncertain on the ordinance number because if you look at the first
Yeah.
paragraph, in the entry paragraph to the ordinance, it also mentions ordinance 2024-236. So is it just coincidence that both of them are 236? We can pass it without
To
giving
be,
the,
yeah, to be determined.
to be determined. We can just say 2025 to be determined.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
All right. I move that we adopt the currently discussed ordinance with the ordinance number to be determined, an ordinance of the city of Sandy Oaks establishing animal control regulations, providing severability clause, providing for a penalty for violations hereof, providing for an effective date, and providing for publication.
I second that, sir.
All right, I have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderwoman Madero to adopt the currently discussed animal control regulations, providing a severability clause, providing for a penalty for violations hereof, providing for an effective date, and providing for a publication with a ordinance number to be confirmed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed? That's unanimous. The motion carries. Let's moving on to agenda item 12A. All right. So 12A is an item to talk through the cleanup plan presented by resident Mr. Reagan. I do believe we have people signed up. So do we want to allow them to talk first and then we'll talk through
They
it?
talk
Or
first.
Okay.
I would request a 10-minute recess because I'm going dry. I need
Okay.
a drink.
All right, time is now 7:40. We will take a 10-minute recess and we will be back at 7:50.
Recording stopped.
I guess I could talk you out of a problem.
Yeah. Just so that y'all know, Jeremy put these binders together. So what I want to do is
Pause that.
All right, remember to bring back the personnel policy because he's not printing again. Or leave it in the binder.
You could've left it in there, right?
That's true, leave it in the binder. I'm gonna write all over it.
I'm talking about, 15 people.
Terry, have you considered posting this on Nextdoor?
Actually, he just got a resident right here, Terry. Ruben wants to talk to you because he's gonna take it to his church